Imagine you are starting your online business and you are all freaking excited and you are looking at all these other people who do what you do. So you start doing that too. And your posts are great and maybe they look good, but all of a sudden you realize nobody's actually engaging. People are not surprised or shocked or wowed, and you're not standing out online. That's because, guys, this is a $3 billion industry and there are so many people who do the exact same thing that you do. Today's video, I'm going to talk about how to brand yourself in a way that's going to help you stand out from the crowd, attract your people, the people who are perfectly right for you, and earn a lot of money in the beginning of your business. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I did a certain few things that I believe really helped me stand out and make a lot of high ticket sales quickly, which brought a lot of cash flow in the door. So I actually made 6 figures by 3.5 months after starting the business coaching business. So I'm gonna share those tips with you guys. And yeah, the other thing that I think really holds people back in the beginning from standing out as a brand or just as a business is this, it's mental. So I'm gonna also talk about really important mindset shifts you need to make as a beginning entrepreneur to get like momentum and income in the door quickly. It's one of the biggest lies that there ever was in this industry is that it takes a long time to be successful. It doesn't. It's just you've got to get this right in order to see the results. And when your mind is right, when your mind sees you as the brand you dream of being, as the leader, as the CEO, as the money maker, as the person who like loves their life, that's what's going to begin to actually be reflected in your personal life and in your branding, in your content, in your videos, in your energy, in your words. And that is a enrolling type of brand energy. You know, people want some of that, right? They don't want to buy, I'm a beginner and I'm freaked the fuck out. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so we're going to talk about those different mindset shifts. So that is what today's video is all about. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I am doing a video every day for the next month because, I don't know, I just fucking decided to. And I'm gonna kick your ass on some of the biggest fears and biggest like mindset misconceptions that hold you back from making more money, having more freedom, more joy in your life and in your business. So make sure you're subscribed and let's get into it. The very first thing that will make you not stand out as a business in the online space on social media is if you are literally doing and saying the exact same things that all the other people in your industry do and say. And in the beginning, you want to look at other people for inspiration. Don't do that. Recipe for disaster, because you'll compare yourself, and secondly, you'll sound exactly like them. In the beginning, you're facing a lot of fear. So your voice, you know, it needs that strength. It needs to be used and practiced, and you need to get over your fear of saying what you really want to say. And, you know, that messaging, that brand messaging, so now we're talking about the actual content and main like core things that you always talk about. That is the top thing I believe that helped me make so much money and have that traction in the beginning of my business, even when I was just starting, because I was saying things that other people in my industry weren't saying. You know, I was willing to go there, you know, like I was willing to talk about money when I was targeting fitness coaches, and there are a lot of fitness coaches that have sort of a scarcity mindset, let's say. So I did get a lot of haters, and you know, I would talk about my journey. I would talk about, there's this one post in particular which made me over $60,000. Actually, it was probably more than over $100,000 over a period of half a year. But it was a post about how I wanted to be the type of woman, the type of person who could go into the store here is called South Moon Under, which is like a luxury brand, like clothing boutique. And I wanted to buy that fucking $30 candle because that's who I desired to embody, that woman that just gets to have what she wants, this candle that smells like abundance because she desires it. And I wrote that post, I bought that candle, like talked about my fear of, you know, my fear of my credit card declining even though I knew it wouldn't. Talked about how I was fucking taking a stand for being that woman. And literally, there are so many people that still buy from me, that are still clients, that signed up initially because of that post and have continued to work with me because I stood for and said and talked about the things that nobody else was. and I was willing to share it vulnerably, but also stand in my power. So that type of messaging, saying the things you're thinking, but are really scared to say that no one else really says, that is going to make you stand out as a leader. People buy from leaders, not from followers. In the beginning, a lot of people, are innately followers. They're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So they're following all these different people, and then pretty soon they lose their voice and their opinions, and it's all watery, and people don't really want to buy that. So the fastest way to stand out as a leader online in the beginning, and also get those clients, those people messaging you who are like, holy fuck, like that is what I think and feel too, and then they stalk all your content, and then you're happening to be selling something at that time, and you're like, well, come on in, the water's warm, and I will lead you down this path. And you will charge high ticket for it, because you do not need to start out charging low prices when you start your business, okay? That is a misconception, it's a lie, and don't do that. So in the beginning of your business, that is super important. Also visually, from a visual brand perspective, like, guys, look nice, okay? Don't like take a picture of a bowl of apples and talk about manifestation and like not even sell your program, okay? I'm talking about one of my clients recently who did that, and I'm gonna call her out on it, but don't fucking post a picture of a bowl of apples. People are not buying apples, they're buying you, okay? Don't post a picture of like a lawn. Okay, I'm using this example because I'm making this video for one of my good friends, Celine DaCosta's group program, doing guest coaching, and there's a guy who has a landscape business. And so that example is coming to mind. Like, you want to stand out in the landscape industry, don't be posting pictures of lawns, okay? Like, post you, tell your story, make it unique, do something that nobody else has done, but like, don't be afraid to show who you are. And really, that's just a fear of like being seen and being rejected, and that is a like deep childhood core wound that you're just gonna have to get over. Which leads me to another point. The fastest way I know how to make a lot of traction, a lot of money, and build the business quickly and stand out is to share your personal brand, to be a personal brand. So like, yes, a landscaping business or really any kind of business could, have a front face or just not show any face. That's possible, but it's also hiding, and it's gonna take a slower amount of time, because as we know, thanks to Celine, telling stories in your brand and in your content are emotional grippers. They are things that, people see and they're like, oh my God, like she has been through what I've been through. And all of a sudden, even though there's like 15 million other coaches that do what you do, they are connected to you because of your energy, your personality, and the fact that you guys are on the same track. They're just behind you and you're leading them down the path with you. Which leads me to my next point of how to stand out is your personality, okay? I was not always this way, loud and intense, and really I share a lot online, and I just don't give a fuck anymore because I filtered myself for a long time, and it is exhausting to like figure out who you're supposed to be. That wastes a lot of time. People can sense inauthenticity when they are watching somebody's content. They can tell if you're real or not. That's something that a lot of people, almost everybody says to me when they start working with me is, I joined because I felt your authenticity and your realness and vulnerability, and I loved it. And then they looked at all of the tactical, strategic things about what I offer and if it could solve their problem, which is why people buy programs. But the first initial impression was my energy, me showing up and sharing myself on video, in written word as well, and my personality and my story. Literally, I had experienced a really terrible illness last year. My breast implants gave me an autoimmune illness where I could barely work. It taught me so fucking much, and I just felt so inspired to share the self-worth lessons that I learned. It has nothing to do with business. It was just through me, and I didn't even promote anything. I don't even think I was selling anything at the time, and that post, I guess you could say went viral. So many people shared it. The newest person who joined my membership, or the very first person, she told me, she's like, I found you because of your boobie story. And I'm like, I'm so glad to say that my boobs, after all they put me through, got me a client. So, that was me being vulnerable, telling my story, sharing my personality, putting myself out there, that gets you clients, you know? So another thing to think about is like, sometimes you really just need to be yourself and stop making it so fucking complicated to build a business. Like literally you build a business by just starting with one client and then you figure out the other shit as you go. But that's something that in the beginning you're gonna like fuck yourself over because you're gonna think, oh my gosh, like if I wanna start an online brand, like I have to do this, that, and that, and then I have to start a Trello board where I have all these different things about the images and my brand colors, and then I have to hire a website designer, and then I have to do this thing before I can even like write a post or tell anybody about my program. And it's like, dude, just go have a conversation with somebody on the street, connect at a human, like heart-to-heart level, and just help them. I can't tell you how many clients I've like kind of like shoved off the cliff into situations where they had to show up and share and just like share their gifts. And people do that in my membership and in my group coaching programs too, where they're, you know, expressing and sharing their gifts, and like my other clients will hire them. So like literally guys, starting a business, building a brand is really as simple as just showing up in spaces where you can share your gift. Okay, and it's as simple as pulling out your freaking iPhone and just talking from the heart, fuck the outline, do it initially to get it in your mind, and then just putting it on the internet. And if you're scared, just throw your phone across the room and just like run the fuck away and don't look at it, but do it until it's not scary anymore, okay? So let's talk about mindset, other mindset shifts. One of the most important things that you could ever do as an entrepreneur in general, as a human being, is to monitor your thoughts, because what you speak aloud about your business right now is creating the exact results that you currently have. So I'm gonna guess that if you're starting a business, you're probably saying something like, oh, I'm like figuring it out, I'm like taking this course, and I think I'm gonna do my YouTube, but that's gonna be in the summer. And then you have like 5 posts that you haven't posted because you're like fucking overthinking it and then editing it, and then they never see the light of day. So of course you don't have a brand, okay? Do you see how that all started with the thought that I'm figuring it out? What if your constant thought and the thing that you tell people when they ask you how it's going is, yeah, this is taking off way faster than I thought. Like, it's thriving. I've got this. Like, shit's going really well, and I am so inspired and so grateful to be doing what I love to do and getting paid. What do you think your actions would be? Okay, you'd just post the video. You wouldn't give a shit. You would just put stuff out there and know that it's going to get momentum. These 2% actions taken over time are going to get you to who you are first being inside. It's like, you need to solidify who you want to be, the person that gets the results you want within, and then you're gonna see your actions change. Like, you wouldn't have kept those 5 posts in your notes app. You would have put that out there without giving a crap if anybody liked it or not, or if your mom thinks you're crazy, okay? Or your coworkers think that you're gonna, whatever, like go jump off a cliff and leave the company. Who cares? You're leaving anyway. You know that's not your purpose. Just saying. So do you see how everything you are saying and thinking on a daily basis is creating your actions? So you can try to skip ahead and be like, Christy, what's the strategy? Celine, what's the strategy? You know, like, how do I do this? What are the steps? You literally won't even take the steps if you are constantly thinking, I am in a beginning state. I am a beginner. I am figuring it out. Okay? Well, that's why people wake up 3 years later after starting their business and shit's still not happening and they're still figuring it out. Okay? You are the decider. You are responsible for every single external result. It's not about your job or your boss or your workload or the fact that there's a pandemic. Like, it is not about that. You decided that, oh, well, the pandemic's happening, so I'm just gonna like roll with it, collect that check from the IRS and like pray to God that this shit works out. Okay, well, what if you were like, all right, instead of me being a victim to this, how can I pivot? How can I move my business online? What can I do? What a cool opportunity that now I get to start a totally new business. I'm seeing this as such a blessing. I'm so glad I have all this time to stay at home and work on my business. Yes, thank you, universe. Okay? You would have an online business that was already making money because you pivoted. So don't even think about the pandemic being a thing that you need to worry about, because the reason why it's affecting you currently is because you are being a victim to it. Who's triggered by the fact that Christy just said that? Like literally, we are the creators of our reality. So you needed to decide, how do I want this thing to go as I'm starting my business, or as I'm deciding that finally after 3 years, I am going to make this shit work. How do you want it to be? Okay? You need to write that out in your journal. You need to write it out every single day and decide what the reality is that you want to have. How do you want people to perceive you as a brand online? And then you need to be real with yourself and ask, am I seeing myself that way? Do I see myself as a leader? Do I see myself as somebody who knows what she's doing, who is getting shit done, putting stuff out there imperfectly, still getting leads, still getting clients? Things are happening for her, not to her or him. Okay, is that the reality that you want to live in? Because the actions that you're taking are going to be completely different when you come from that mental perspective. So in business, this is, no matter what kind of business, this is a mental game. This is the most intense self-growth program you will ever go on in your life. All of your crap will come up and you'll be forced to consistently, every single day, look at and intentionally shift any thought, any limiting belief that is not serving you, that is creating action that is not profitable, that is causing you anxiety or mental stress, and you get to shift that. You're in control of that. I have literally done this to get myself out of depression, you guys, after being sick. I put myself on a mental diet, and I decided I am responsible for my feelings. And I can sit here and tell everybody I'm depressed, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm figuring it out. Or I can say my business is thriving. It's crazy how fast I was able to pick things back up again after I had my surgery. So if you guys have never seen any of that part of my story, I had to take a break from my business last year because I got really sick with an autoimmune illness. So it's like not just something that you do in the beginning of your business, it's something you're gonna have to do all the time throughout your journey because life happens. And as you do this inner work on yourself, your brand is going to pick up. Like if you right now see yourself as like kind of a beginner and like not that pretty and like maybe people won't like you and maybe you're too fat or whatever, that's going to show up in your actions. I don't know how many times I can say this, okay? I feel like I should say it a million times because it is the most important thing before strategy. And then, yes, strategy matters, but not before this is checked out, okay? So to summarize and make sure you guys understand, you want to make a lot of money or have a lot of traction in your business right away, and you want to stand out and really share your message in a way that's super powerful, you need to be willing to say the things that other people won't say. You need to be willing to be vulnerable in a powerful way, and you need to just post the post, put the video out there, do things imperfectly, find the joy in being an amateur, in you know, like having that pride in the fact that, yeah, you're starting that podcast, the audio quality is shitty, but you're doing it anyway. That's who you are. There's so much pride to be had in that, okay? And that is an energy and, you know, a persona of leadership that is going to reflect in your content. And like I said, people buy from leaders, not from followers. So I'm gonna leave this video at that. Let me know in the comments what was the most impactful part of this video for you. If you want to make a change and you want to take something from this video and not just let it be another video that you watch and just like think, oh my God, I was so inspired. Tell me one thing that you're actually going to go action and implement right now after you watch this to change your fucking life, to change how business is going for you. What are you going to do? Because thoughts are great. Learning is great. Nothing changes in your life or in your business or your results without an action. So let me know in the comments. And if you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel because I will be ass kicking every single day on topics just like this. And if you want to work with me in a deeper way, my monthly group coaching membership, Rise from the Heart, is open for a few more days. So make sure that you go join before the doors close. I only open a few times a year, but as you can imagine, it is a lot of coaching like this on our 2 weekly group Zoom calls, and all of my strategies, all my courses are included in that. So it's basically designed for you guys to be able to have access to a coach when you need it. Some people don't need it all the time, and that's fine. and get that support, because you're gonna go so much faster. This is another tip from where you're beginning. You're gonna go so much faster when you have somebody pull you out of your mental rut, to show you where you're holding yourself back, to point you in this direction that you need to go in, and give you a little aligned nudge or kick, depending on the client, in the direction that you want to be going in for results. All right, that's what coaching is. That's why people buy it. Anyways, I'm gonna talk forever, so I have to go. Make sure you're subscribed and comment below. Bye.